Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Another crazy day in the VALORANT Americas last night with evil geniuses upsetting NRG in a crazy series to take them down and put NRG potentially under some serious pressure going forward. What is going on with that roster, given where they should be theoretically, and also given the fact that Sentinels still have hope to make the playoffs? It is a very outside possibility after last night's results, but it is still technically possible if things go their way. Very much on Twitter, your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Firstly, in the Pacific side, Talon Esports, they took down Team Secret yesterday 2-1. Big result actually for those guys as well. Ended up after changing out a couple of things. We know that Governor was talking a fair bit on the timeline over the last couple of days, certainly in regard to that whole, well, yay, gangster situation. 13-11 on the sunset, but after that, Lotus bounced back 13-11 to their pick, and then the Breeze was 13-10. Super tight series. Team Secret, though, go down, and Bleed, they just played DRX, and if I hit the refresh, you'll see it was a clean 2-0. So, yeah, it's a classic for Bleed. I will say, to be fair, game 1 on the Binds, this was DRX's map pick. They lost both pistols here, Bleed, and they looked pretty good. They didn't look too bad. But they went down 13-9. Bayon, of course, continues to have a good series. Yay on the Rays, and this was actually said by Legia, the coach of Bleed, the other day, that Yay is still pushing forward with the Rays. Like, he could run the chamber if he wanted to. Sure, on some maps it's not viable, but you know, he's got the option there, but he's choosing to run it, and it's not really working. He runs the Euro game 2 on their pick. They won both pistols and got slammed. So, yeah, this is just classic Bleed. Fair play to DRX, looking good. I think Bleed now have quite some time to make roster changes. They will do. We know that Mervyn has said this, their founder, that, you know, they're going to be blowing it up effectively, their roster. They're 1-5 now. They've not made the playoffs, of course. They did get that one series win against Detonation, Focus Me Gaming, but yeah, changes are going to be made. What those changes are is a question. Is Ye going to be out? I think there's a very realistic chance that possibly does happen, but I think anything is still on the cards there. T1 as well. This is the other series that I needed to show you guys, because they took down Zeta yesterday 2-1. And that was actually massively important here. Rossi and Sire Player and those guys. Zeta haven't been great for some time. They won their pick. They lost their, you know, T1's pick, and then the Sunset was a decider that was 13-10 to T1 in the end. So a very important result for them, because that was enough actually to get them through to the playoffs, because they have a better round differential than T1, or than Global Esports, sorry. So that puts T1 through to the playoffs and Global Esports out. So unfortunate for those guys, but that is just the nature of this format, which is not especially forgiving. There was a bit of drama as well, continuing on the whole Scrim leaks situation. So we saw what Gangster had to say on Yay now a couple of days ago, and Frost, who's now coach for Talon, says it's embarrassing that Scrim leaks still happen. It's even worse knowing what's coming and losing, lol. Now, there was also this I noted from this guy, Fade VLR. So he's a Malaysian coach out there in that region, and he said the other day, my condolences to Bleed players that are receiving the same treatment as he did to DSG, apparently, from El Diablo, as he describes it. So understandably, Fade was getting kind of some backlash and saying, well, you know, do you know this is true, or are you just making it up effectively? So Net says, have you asked Bleed players about it? You know, what are these assumptions? And Fade says, yeah, as a matter of fact, I have asked them about it. I know this to be true. So then he actually did a tweet yesterday where he put this out. These matters should always be settled in private. My bad for bringing the attention to the public. The players affected don't want the problem to escalate further, so I won't speak on this matter anymore. I did compile the receipt. You be the judge of whether I'm lying. So then he tweeted out this screenshot of the receipts, basically text messages between him and presumably players on Bleed about what was going on. Now, he put this out there before then deleting it. He actually put it out in low quality. Like, this isn't just me having, or like your eyes being problematic. Like, this is what he put out deliberately to like obscure what was actually said. So we can't really read it. We can read on the right hand side, that's what happens to Something and Gangster, just bullied every day. So that's pretty, just bullied by Yay. I think they're getting bullied by Yay. I think that possibly says there. I don't really know. It's difficult to read into. But effectively, this is what he put out there before then saying, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't have actually tweeted that. So then he deleted everything and said, okay, my bad. Probably shouldn't have said. It's just funny, isn't it? These matters should be settled in private. But let me just leak some receipts in low quality, just so you can kind of speculate what's happening. Man, Valorant drama never ceases to amaze. But we do have to talk about the Americas, because this was a screenshot yesterday, which was interesting, to say the very least here, because Furia came out the gate and slapped Cloud9 around on the first map here on the Ascent. I mean, this was wild, because Furia Furia have been trash so far, let's be honest. Cloud9 have been very competitive, but if there's any team that can somehow find a way to fall off, it would be Cloud9. Now, Sentinels, ideally, they needed C9 to get 2-0'd by both Furia and by MIBR, which seemed unlikely, and I said that was very likely yesterday. After game 1, though, all of a sudden, the discussion was, hang on, is this going to happen? Because if Cloud9 were to get 2-0-2-0s, then Sentinels' qualification was very much still on the cards. So Sentinels are talking, oh my god, don't give me any more hope. And Rob Moore says, you're saying there's a chance, there's hope. And there still is hope, technically. But somewhat diminished hope after the results of yesterday. Even John QT says, it's the hope that kills you. Like, please stop doing this, Furia. Please stop doing this, Cloud9. Put us out of our misery, I think, type thing was the implication here. And, well, thankfully for those guys, I guess, Oxy decided that he was going to turn up big time here. And Oxy basically single-handedly at a point, okay, he played well, the rest of the guys played well. But this was the moment, really, when, I mean, he just completely turned the game on its head. Oxy gets 1, gets 2, gets 3, gets 4, all with the Sheriff here. Absolutely disgusting ace for Oxy, and he's hoped as a result. And that was an important turning point in the final map there, because that took Furia from a nice start to all of a sudden on the back foot massively. So Cloud9 got embarrassed map 1. They, 12-0'd at the half, then it was 13-2 after they did win the pistol. Lotus, though, was 13-3 the other way on Cloud9's pick, so they bounced back big time. And then the binds, Oxy just took over, as he quite often does, for a 13-8 W. So Furia go down, Cloud9 get the victory. Oxy, the star of the show on that side yet again. But then we had EG NRG. And wow, EG, man, this team is so interesting, isn't it? Like, the organization they have over there, the structure of the team, they obviously made massive changes after winning the World Championship last year because the organization is a bit of a shambles. And it wasn't that long ago where they looked very questionable and vulnerable. But maybe this is just how it goes. You give these guys a bit of time, you give Potter some time to work with these players, they build a great culture and chemistry. Com said it after the series about the importance of the chemistry on teams like these, and, you know, EG have that in spades. And, I don't know, man, give Potter enough time to work with a team like this, they start to deliver very impressive performances. And, yeah, Dorgamo was going hard in this game, finding himself in this position, up 12-6. All his teammates around him die. Demon 1 makes plays. We'll discuss Demon 1 here in a second just because of, you know, the fact that he turned up on the role that he did. But here goes Jorgamo with the judge, gets 1, gets 2, and then slams out the rest of the guys as well. Absolutely phenomenal scenes. And EG eventually close out the series 2-1. They won that ascent 13-6, very impressively so. Lotus then was 16-14 on EG's map pick back to NRG. And this was, you know, a pretty accomplished game from NRG. Victor was on the raise, drops 30 frags. Demon 1 on the brimstone that he sometimes does. So, yeah, this seemed perfectly reasonable. What I found questionable was we then go to a sunset when Demon 1 now runs the raise and Victor's on the Cypher. So I just don't really understand what the mindset is there from the NRG guys. And obviously Chet, the coach of the team, has to be called into question here. Victor's just had a nice game on the raise, Marv's been on the Cypher, then for the sunset you change around the composition, and despite a good start, EG eventually get the victory in what could prove to be a damn important series. FNS, of course, had said to Shanks or whatever it was that, look, if EG beat NRG, I'll give you 500 subs. So FNS obviously, yeah, didn't go to plan for him. GG, frustrating loss considering how slow we start on Ascent, how much effort everyone has put in on the days before. Well played, EG. So, man, EG, what a team, right? These guys just never cease to pull off something at some point in the season, and man, Potter just deserves so much credit for what she's able to achieve with the players and the culture and the chemistry that they're able to put together. But I think maybe it says even more about NRG, that this roster that was intended to be a super team when it was put together has not really delivered. They don't have quite the star power they've had before, and some of the decision making going into these situations is nonetheless highly questionable. So that leaves the league looking like this. NRG are now 3-2, sitting in the drop zone right now, because EG with 2 victories, that secures 3 seeds from Group Omega making it through. So there are only 3 spots in Group Alpha, and all of a sudden NRG are 3-2, and now it's all over the place. Now this format is a mess because 100T, they are guaranteed playoffs right now. They have 2 wins. They can lose their next couple of series, go 2-3, and they can still make playoffs, no problem, guaranteed. Whereas there can be teams over here with 4 wins that don't make it. So maybe that's the natural occurrence of an 11-team franchise league that we have this season, but I feel like having 2 groups in the first place is arguably a mistake. Maybe it should have been just one division where you play matches in a round robin style and the top 6 make it, rather than do this groups thing, just because I think that it's added a lot of complication, especially when there is serious discrepancies in the strength of teams within these respective groups. But this is how it stands, and even Vanity actually said of Cloud9, who they're now, 4-1, they should be fine. This format is truly incredible, and honestly, the amount of calculations that are required to figure out what's going on here are kind of absurd. So thanks to Wellminder for putting this together, because man, what an absolute mess to try and wrap your head around here, like the way they put this stuff together. So G2 and NRG can still both qualify. Just to have a look at how this looks right now, because assuming Cloud9 beats MRBR and Crew wins a match or enough maps to qualify, which they should do, all Crew needs to do is win, I think, 2 maps, so they can actually lose both series they play, Crew. As long as they win 2 maps across the series, they'll be fine. Obviously, a match win guarantees it, and Cloud9 should beat MRBR. So then you've got all sorts of possibilities. If G2 win and NRG loses, G2 qualifies, in addition, of course, to Cloud9 making it because they should do, and Crew making it because they should do. That leaves 1 spot left up for grabs. If both G2 and NRG win, G2 will likely make it based on their round differential. But, and of course, it's G2 versus Loud, and it's NRG versus 100T. So, man, a couple of games there. Sentinels versus Furia. Sentinels, of course, needs to dominate that series 2-0. The only world in which Sen make it is as follows. If G2 get 2-0'd by Loud, which is possible, if NRG get 2-0'd by 100T, which is possible, I suppose, then Sentinels can make it if they win 2-0 and they make up a 25-round differential. So they need Loud to slam G2 and they need Sentinels to destroy Furia. If those things happen and both of those guys get O2'd, Sentinels can still make it, would you believe? But in almost all scenarios, that isn't going to be happening. But yeah, this is wild, I'm not going to lie. Very much interested in your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.